Each payday, you hand your entire six-figure paycheck to credit card companies before you buy groceries. Build a cash reserve and automate your investment accounts to escape this debt trap. Cap your lifestyle upgrades to afford guilt-free dinners. You stand in the checkout line with your credit card tapped against the reader. You read a checking account balance of $43.12 on the digital screen. You receive your next direct deposit in 2 days. Wealthy Americans build their bank accounts outside traditional corporate employment. Entrepreneurs make up 75% of this affluent group. Investors account for 15%. Heirs claim 7% of the total wealth. The remaining 3% possess a highly specialized skill. You prioritize daily financial management over your raw income level. You build wealth through purposeful structure rather than raw earnings. You clear six figures annually. You let instinct guide your monthly spending instead of a deliberate tracking system. You fall into the six-figure broke trap by lacking a tracking system. You walk out of the retail store empty-handed. You make this specific choice because of your low bank balance. You climb into the Alpine white BMW you leased 11 months ago. The vehicle features 19-inch alloy wheels and costs $649 monthly before adding insurance premiums. You repeat a familiar internal lie about the affordability of this specific payment. You find the monthly auto draft manageable until the bank rejects a grocery transaction. Your phone vibrates against the center console at a red light. Danielle from the marketing department sent a photo of her new Chanel classic flap bag. The black caviar leather and gold hardware retail near $11,000. Her text caption reads about treating herself after a big project. You reply with a single red heart emoji. You keep your 9-day avoidance of the mobile banking app a secret. An estimated balance feels worse than a precise number because you refuse to face reality. You arrive home and unclasp your cardiac tank must from your wrist. You bought the quartz model instead of the mechanical automatic version. The watch cost $2,150 when you financed the purchase in March. You place the luxury watch on the bedroom dresser next to a thick stack of unopened credit card mail. You earn a current corporate salary that dwarfs the lifetime earnings of your childhood friends. You tell your parents work is going great during Sunday phone calls. You mean every single word of that statement. You find genuine professional satisfaction in the job itself. Your original offer letter printed a high base salary. You lost the money somewhere between the corporate payroll department and your apartment front door. You lack a clear mathematical explanation for this total disappearance. Your past self expected a six-figure salary to eliminate financial stress. You must make deliberate daily choices to reduce anxiety despite your high earnings. Almost half of Americans earning over $100,000 annually share your exact paycheck-to-paycheck routine. These high-income individuals experience the same physical chest tightness at the cash register. They perform the same rapid mental calculations before tapping a credit card. They avoid their mobile banking apps for the exact same 9-day stretches. Society positions high income as a final financial destination. High earners wearing luxury watches and driving leased German vehicles often experience an expanded, more expensive version of the exact same financial strain. A low base salary never caused your current financial issues. The core issue involves your specific spending habits during the 48 hours following a direct deposit. You funnel cash toward physical items projecting success instead of financial assets building long-term wealth. You finance a luxury car payment to impress restaurant parking attendants. You buy designer leather bags for social media photos. You purchase Swiss luxury watches that office coworkers ignore. You have valid reasons to desire these physical items. You create a false illusion of true affordability when you finance these purchases with leftover rent money. You avoided acknowledging this critical distinction until this exact evening. You launch the mobile banking app for a second time tonight. You open the app to find an unchanged balance. You force yourself to study the digital screen instead of glancing away in discomfort. You stare at the $43.12 figure. You feel deep shame in your chest. You push past the heavy guilt to form a new analytical thought. You stop wondering about increasing your gross income. You start tracking the exact destination of your current funds. You will not find the answer tonight. An unexpected event in 2 days will force you to confront this harsh financial reality. 2 days pass. You stand at the Gristed's register holding your phone. The machine blinks and rejects your American Express twice. The cashier waits and taps her fingers on the counter. The woman standing behind you shifts her weight and sighs. She checks her watch. You tap your Visa card. The machine approves the transaction. You walk out carrying a paper bag of groceries and a heavy feeling in your stomach. This heavy feeling has zero connection to hunger. You call Renee that night. She manages a boutique gym in Jersey City and went to college with you. You chose her because she lets you speak plainly. You avoid putting on a performance or faking a smile around her. You mention your American Express getting declined and try to make it sound like a funny joke. She skips the laugh. She asks the exact question you spent the last 9 days dodging. She wants to know your exact balance. You open the banking app. You sit on the edge of your bed and read the specific number. You force yourself to look at the screen. The display shows $6,740. Your balance matches the national average for people carrying a monthly credit card balance. You lack that specific piece of trivia in the moment. You spot the interest rate sitting next to the balance. The screen displays 21.49%. You recognize that figure from the fine print at the bottom of the page. You scrolled past that section to find the total due. You failed to calculate the true cost of that percentage. You open the calculator app on the mattress. You run the numbers you avoided for 2 entire years. Your minimum payment requires $135 every single month. You will spend 14 years clearing the balance by paying that exact amount. You will hand the bank the same amount of money in interest as the original balance. 14 years puts you at 43 years old. Your mind drifts to the Cartier piece sitting on your dresser. You think about your $649 car payment. You choose to ignore your credit card statement for 6 days every month. You grasp the true nature of your financial situation. You treat this debt like a second rent payment you agreed to without signing a lease or reading the terms. Renee skips the lecture. She lowers her voice and shares her own experience. She bought an away suitcase and a Cartier bracelet for her 30th birthday. She spent 2 years digging out from under those purchases. She uses those specific brand names to provide exact details. She wants to describe her financial mistakes the way someone describes the specific shape of a scar. You lack any memory of her discussing money in this manner. You assumed she possessed a perfect financial strategy and a flawless budget. You feel zero shock regarding the debt itself. You knew about the outstanding balance. You feel real shock regarding your monthly income. You tell your parents about your six-figure salary. You surrender that money to bills before you make a single choice for yourself. You pay the minimum payment. You pay the car lease. You tap the card at the grocery store without thinking. You swipe the card on autopilot. You now face deliberate choices combining into a single balance that grows larger every month. You skip fixing the problem that specific night. You stop ignoring the true size of the issue. You notice a smaller and steadier feeling underneath your initial fear. You realize you accumulated this debt through sheer inattention. You possess the ability to dismantle the exact same balance through deliberate action. You will start with the portion of your income remaining unallocated and build a new system. 3 weeks after the Gustides register rejected your card, your coworker Devin limps into the office. Devin handles paid media and sits 2 desks away. He shows everyone a photo of his Jeep Wrangler Rubicon sitting on a flatbed tow truck. The mechanic quoted him $4,200 to fix the transmission. He financed the vehicle 18 months ago and owes more than its market value. He plans to put the repair on the credit card holding his January ski trip balance. You watch him laugh about the situation in the break room. The laugh sounds like pure panic masking itself. You think about your $6,740 balance and realize how close you stand to his position. Priya from accounting shares a different story later that week. She buys you coffee because you stayed quiet all morning. A driver rear-ended her Subaru on the turnpike back in March. The body shop charged $9,000 for the damage. The at-fault driver's insurance company took 6 weeks to process the payout. Priya never flinched. She kept cash in a high-yield account set aside for this type of disaster. She paid the repair shop directly and waited for the reimbursement check without missing a monthly bill. Priya looks you in the eye and explains her mindset while you drink your coffee. She refuses to live her life one bad week away from a financial crisis. You sit down that night and calculate your true monthly baseline. You strip away lifestyle expenses and focus on survival. You list rent at $2,150 alongside utilities, groceries, insurance, and minimum debt payments. You leave out your car lease payment because an unaffordable vehicle represents a past decision. The final survival number reaches $3,380. You multiply that figure by 5 based on Priya's strategy and arrive at $16,900. This calculation provides 5 months of financial floor to catch you if your income disappears. You lack that safety net. Your Chase savings account holds $312. That balance generated 9 cents in interest over the past year. You verified the math because a previous comment from Priya stung. You open the Marcus by Goldman Sachs app on your phone while sitting on the couch. Marcus offers an annual percentage yield near 4.1%, paying over 400 times the Chase rate for the same dollar. You transfer $200 into the new high-yield account that night. The new balance falls far short of your $16,900 goal. The small transfer marks the first time in years you moved money with deliberate intention. You think about Devon and his broken Jeep sitting on the flatbed. His true emergency involved his lack of a designated landing pad for unexpected costs, forcing him into credit card debt. You glance at the Cartier bag resting on your dresser. The expensive designer item remains in your possession, unsold and unshamed. Building a sturdy financial floor requires zero sacrifice of your personal joys or daily routines. You construct a solid foundation before reaching for higher financial goals. You build 5 full months of security, one automated transfer at a time. The next flatbed tow truck will never dictate your future choices or force you into a panic. Your money earns its 4% return every day. You start asking a different question about the specific job your remaining funds should perform while you sleep. The Tuesday open enrollment email lands in your inbox. Past years, you skim the message and delete it without a second thought. This time, you click through to the benefits portal. A box asks how much of your paycheck should route into your 401k. Next to it, small gray text mentions your employer matching up to 4%. You have seen that line every year since your first day at the job. This marks the first year you grasp what those words mean. The company hands you money for free the moment you ask for it. Previous years, you never asked. You mention this detail at your cousin Tyler's 4th of July cookout in Montclair. You bring it up because his uncle Frank shows up. Frank retired last spring from teaching high school chemistry. Frank drives a 10-year-old Toyota Camry with faded paint. He lives in the same modest colonial he bought in 1994. He also paid for the entire family's dinner. Nobody noticed until the waiter took the check away. You ask Frank how a teacher's salary produces that kind of financial freedom. You ask half joking. He tells you he opened an IRA at 26. He never touched the account. He let the money sit and grow while he lived his regular, unremarkable life. He graded papers and drove his Camry to work every morning. Later, standing by the cooler, Tyler admits he started investing 2 years ago at 34. He contributes double what Frank ever put in. Tyler works hard to close the gap. He shows you his brokerage app on his phone. Frustration fills his voice. His effort cannot change the math. Frank's early dollars had 30 extra years to compound. Tyler's aggressive contributions race against time and lose. You stand there holding a paper plate piled with ribs. You realize the version of you sitting on $312 a month ago missed more than money. She missed years. That week you open a Roth IRA at Fidelity. The website takes 10 minutes to complete. The IRS allows you to put in up to $7,500 this year. You set up an automatic transfer of $400 a month. This money grows after tax and untouched by the IRS for the rest of your life. You bump your 401k contribution up to the full 4% your company matches. Frank's voice stays in your head. He called this money yours to claim, but you never asked for it. Inside both accounts, you skip individual stocks. You ignore flashy picks. You build the same boring 3-fund setup Frank described over paper plates. You put 60% into a total U.S. stock index fund. You allocate 30% to international stocks. You assign 10% to bonds. This setup includes a built-in shock absorber. Over the past decade, the S&P 500 averaged close to 12.4% a year. Past performance guarantees nothing. Those returns explain why Frank's untouched dollars from 1994 paid off his Camry and covered that dinner tab. Nobody watched him settle. You schedule the transfers to happen automatically on the same day your paycheck lands. The money moves before you decide to spend it on something else. Nothing dramatic happens. The screen stays dark. You close the app and return to your evening. The money moving without your permission serves as the entire strategy. Your stability cushion protects you from emergencies. This automated growth builds wealth while you focus on your day, but automated growth leaves the other side of your paycheck alone. That side keeps leaking cash out the door every time you open your closet. Pillar 3 tackles lifestyle creep head-on to protect your progress. Your friend Sydney gets engaged this June. Your friends fill the group chat with pictures from a meatpacking district rooftop bar. String lights hang above the scene. She holds a chilled $22 cocktail. A white gold Rolex Datejust 36 reflects the light on her wrist in every single shot. She announces the luxury purchase as a personal celebration. A private conversation in the bathroom line reveals the financial reality. She financed the watch through 4 monthly payments of $1,875. She also mentioned a Chanel bag purchased via Afterpay back in April. She still owes $600 on that accessory. 11 months ago, you lived that exact lifestyle. You signed the expensive lease and bought the flashy watch. A declined grocery store card forced you to stand under those exact same string lights. You feel zero judgment toward Sydney today. You recognize her financial choices like spotting your own handwriting on a stranger's notebook. You head home and review your bank statement out of pure curiosity. You tally 4 active streaming subscriptions. One service sits untouched since February. An Equinox gym membership in Hoboken renews at $210 monthly. You visited that facility 2 times since January. You ordered DoorDash 11 times over the last 30 days. Those food deliveries averaged $34 each. Every single charge started as a thoughtless tap on a screen. You gave a small digital affirmation to each merchant and walked away. Restricting all spending at once usually triggers a massive rebound effect. You establish a single boundary instead. Any unbudgeted purchase exceeding $75 requires a mandatory 7-day waiting period. You test this new boundary 2 weeks later at the Saks outlet. A pair of distressed leather Golden Goose sneakers catches your eye. The $495 price tag matches the styles your coworkers wear. You desire them with the same intensity you felt for a Cartier piece. You pocket your credit card and set a calendar alert for the following week. You lose the urge by day 7. Your initial excitement fades once the specific moment passes. You purchase a $68 pair of Clarks instead. You wear those practical shoes to the office daily. The sturdy soles handle your daily commute without issue. You feel profound relief from the transaction and experience zero feelings of deprivation. Your essential expenses now consume 62% of your take-home pay. This category covers rent, insurance, debt obligations, and groceries. Priya defined this exact ratio as the dividing line separating people who appear wealthy from people who build actual wealth. She explained how maintaining this specific threshold creates a massive divergence in long-term financial trajectories. You cancel 2 streaming platforms. You drop the fancy Hoboken gym for a $30 monthly facility 3 blocks from your apartment. The marble lobby added zero value to your physical fitness anyway. You generate zero exciting rooftop party stories with these practical adjustments. Nobody takes photos of canceled digital subscriptions. Sydney wears her shining Rolex in every new group chat picture. You allow yourself to acknowledge that familiar pang of desire whenever you see it. You caused zero financial stress by wanting nice items. You created the actual burden by purchasing those items with future earnings. Eliminating those thoughtless expenses frees up real cash for your future. You stop feeling deprived of the latest trends. You finally possess available funds to spend on deliberate choices. You buy experiences that bring real joy and avoid using mindless retail therapy as an impulsive apology to your past self. Pillar 4 centers on guilt-free joy. Your phone vibrates on a Tuesday morning with an automated transfer notification. Your bank moves $400 into the Fidelity account on every payday. You ignore the alert out of habit. Today you pause to check the running total. You watch the Roth IRA balance cross the $4,900 mark in July. Friends send zero congratulatory texts. You see no rooftop parties or string lights. You watch a digital number grow larger while you brew coffee. This quiet update ranks among your favorite weekly moments. Renee calls that weekend to pitch a long weekend in Charleston for a mutual friend's wedding. Round-trip flights from Newark cost around $340. You previously would have declined out of guilt while watching your checking account dwindle. Alternatively, you would have agreed and charged the full amount to the MasterCard without checking your balance. You used that identical strategy with the Cartier watch. Today you open your budget instead. You route 15% of every paycheck into a separate account reserved for these exact events. You name the account Joy. Typing that name into the app felt embarrassing the first time. You feel zero embarrassment today. You hold an $1,100 balance in the account right now. You use these funds to cover the flights, a wedding gift, and a nice dinner. You skip mental math during the meal. You pay for everything with available cash and keep money left over. You accept the invitation without feeling any familiar dread. You still pay money for the trip. You held the required funds in your bank account before you agreed to the trip. You stand outside the Charleston church before the ceremony and strap on the Cartier tank must. You left this specific watch on your dresser 11 months ago next to a pile of unopened mail. You kept the watch and stopped using it to prove your worth. You paid off the balance in March. You feel different wearing the timepiece today compared to the night you first placed it on your wrist. You own the identical watch. You feel like a completely different person wearing it today. Renee spots the watch at the reception and asks if you bought a new accessory. You tell her you are wearing the original piece. You explain the watch belongs to you outright and generates 0 monthly interest charges. She stays quiet for a moment. She calculates numbers regarding her own wrist in the identical manner you calculated debts in your bedroom with a calculator. You keep your advice to yourself. You stopped lecturing people completely. You recognize your past self would have ignored any unsolicited advice. She needs to experience a declined card for $43.12. She needs to calculate a 14-year payoff timeline to comprehend the situation. Friends fail to pull people out of financial traps. You eventually notice your own predicament after spending time inside it. You open the banking app on the flight home out of pure habit. Worry plays zero role in this action. You watch your stability cushion show $9,200 climbing toward the 5-month expense floor. You leave your retirement accounts to grow on an independent schedule. You keep essential spending capped and boring while delivering consistent results. You see a remaining balance of $46 in the Joy account. You spent that money on a memorable weekend as intended. Your employer still pays you the same $128,000 salary from a year ago. Your gross paycheck number remains identical. You changed the destination of those funds during the window between the deposit and the withdrawal. You ignored that specific window in the past. You found the entire financial difference inside that exact gap all along. You control that gap today. You check the app out of habit instead of fear. You notice the surprising silence after the panic fades. You observe the stability cushion sitting at the target number. Your bank processes automated transfers without your intervention. You wear the Cartier watch as a standard timepiece and avoid treating it as a financial confession. You will see Sydney posing with a Rolex in a group chat photo tomorrow. You will want to own that exact watch. You experience zero problems from that desire. You created none of your past issues by wanting nice items. Your bank will withdraw the rent payment tomorrow. You will feel a minor sting from the debt payment. You will apply the 7-day rule when you stand in front of a shiny, unnecessary item. You manage these financial tasks with active effort. You choose the destination of your money during the small window between the deposit and the withdrawal every single payday. You own that gap today. You hold the answer regarding what you build inside that space next.